Hello. Today is the 18th session, and fortunately, it is all our sessions are recorded and are present in our playlist, also in our web, because i- i- we think that it convey a certain important message and certain important technologies that not should be regarded as a rapid thing and disappear after, or just lectures and leave lectures. But it, it contains uh, uh, today, for example, contains practical and scientific uh, solutions, some of the solutions for how to increase access for clinical radiation oncology care. I don't see till now many audience. We'll wait for for a few minutes, and I would like to announce also that in the next uh, uh, week we have a very exciting presentation about a lecture about the combination of uh, 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 immunotherapy, targeted nano particles, radio biomaterials, and radiotherapy. And this is the future, the near future, and the future has begun, not as something that we are speaking about, something not interesting now. No, we are speaking about studies, clinical work, scientific work, physics, medical physics work, pharmacological work, and pharmaceutical work, and many others that is developed to form the very near future, which is ready. Why it is important that the present generation knows about it, and the mid-career and young generation knows about it. There is a discussion now when to start some of these technologies. Uh, uh, while it is some of them are already present, need some studies, need some extra work, but some of them already present, and even uh, uh, um, some of them, like the two, the three talks of today, were funded by leading industry. So the leading industry knows, not only knows, but involved. But sometimes we say when people become ready, when because there is industrial lines are working. Wait, but despite that, it could help a lot in increasing access to cancer care for millions of patients, not not with slogans, not with agendas, publication, commission, but by scientific work, by our work. Yesterday, I have a long meeting with Dr. Claire Thibodeau, who is the vice president and director for scientific affair for Cure Within Reach. She is PhD in pharmacy, and we are preparing for the panel discussion, panel session of 24th April. It will be with ASCO, American Society of Clinical Oncology, webinars about repurposing drugs, and we'll see also the difference between repurposing and repositioning, and these repurposing drugs and devices also. What we use in in diagnosis, in labs, in laser, in many things. Besides that, surely the mainstream of drugs, cancer drugs, repurposing cancer drugs, which is a very big field. And as you remember that our chapter 23 and 24 is about that, and we presented a whole session 14 with Claire Thibodeau about the repurposing. Me, I start now because this is Bashkim, you are there?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, because what we present today is very related to you, and we would like to hear your comments. Is your field and field of Tawfiq also. We would like to hear from him. Yes, and Shaban and Dr. Amal Ali. Yes, for all of you. I'll start now. What do you think, Bashkim and Tawfiq? I start.
We are
Anyway,
ready.
anyway, it is recorded. So who miss anything, they will be recorded.
Hello, my name is Eric Ford. I'm a medical physicist and a professor at the University of Washington in Seattle. I'm going to describe a project my team and I are involved in. This is to deliver low-cost radiotherapy devices for cancer treatment. So if you don't know what radiation therapy is, let me stop for a minute and explain that, and then I'm going to talk about the device. All right, so here we go. So here's a case study. Here's a patient with a lesion from metastatic cancer in the vertebral body. You can see it here. This is very painful for this patient, but we can treat this with radiation. So here's a treatment, 8th grade, delivered over 3 days, and this patient leaves and the pain will be gone. So this is a palliative treatment, not meant to cure the patient, but it avoids all the problems associated with the delivery of a narcotic or an opioid for this patient. Very common use of radiation. Here's another way we use it. Treating this patient who has head and neck cancer, treating the tumor volumes here, staying away from the cord and staying away from the salivary gland, which preserves salivary function and dietary status. So this can be delivered in a very cost-effective way and avoid toxicities. So these are the main advantages. Non-invasive, allows sparing of organs, low risk of toxicity, and overall the costs are low once you're going with radiotherapy. It should be utilized according to various studies at a very high rate, and you look at cancers that are represented in low middle income countries, and you see the utilization rate should be around 80% or so. That's how we use it when the technology is available. But the access is not good across the globe. There are many machines in North America, almost 4,000, but in the continent of Africa, there are about 300 such machines. And per population, the numbers are also not good. In addition to that, there are staffing needs, and here you'll see the great undersupply of medical physicists. It's one of the job description of people that are needed to run and control these devices. So this drives the access to technology, the upfront capital costs, the staff availability, the reliability, and you see that play out here. In low-income countries, the equipment is a big percentage of the cost. Also, the staff, even if the salaries are available, the staff is often not available. So that brings us to the requirements. We need devices that are reliable, simple, efficient, and as a result have reduced staffing requirements. However, they also need to be able to deliver high precision radiation therapy. The devices we have now use many moving parts, lots of equipment that can break down. So this is the crux of our project. This is something that's funded by the National Cancer Institute under the Affordable Cancer Technology Program. And our project is partnership with the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in New Delhi and a commercial partner, Panacea Medical Technologies in Bangalore, India.
Yes. These techniques allows to low-cost radiotherapy by modifying modified devices for 3D and for conformal radiotherapy. The next presentation will be in more details and about image guided and please, if you need any details about from Eric Ford, Professor Eric Ford, send to us, and he would appreciate any communication about this, because this will give you hope, and this already produced, give hope to lower the cost of conformal radiotherapy and the time and everything and the personnel.
And friend to present his talk.
Thank you, Mandar. Some really excellent talks today. I'd like to thank the organizers and especially my colleague, William for putting this together. He's done a really amazing job here, and we're all very fortunate to be a part of it. So now we're going to talk about some specific scientific collaborations with some potential for making an impact in global health. So while this is kind of a technical talk, I promise there will be no formulas. Well, maybe one or two. So this project is born out of many years of collaboration with Varian Medical Systems. Thank you, Dow, wherever you are. Varian funded projects as well as NCI funded projects to do some of this research that I'm going to show you. So beginning with radiation therapy, just a brief primer. Dow showed some images earlier of a clinical linear accelerator. That's what this is right here. And this is kind of the workhorse of radiation therapy. And so I wanted to give a little tour of what's going on here. First of all, there's the radiation delivery device itself, which is coming out of here. There's image guidance tools, including low energy and high energy X-rays. And offline in another room altogether, there's a whole treatment planning platform and activity that's going on. And each of these components can be very expensive and time intensive and training intensive. And in each of these areas, there's opportunity for developing low-cost solutions. And so I believe right after this talk, Dr. Eric Ford will be talking about the radiation delivery side, and tomorrow Lawrence Court will be talking about the treatment planning work that he has done. And so for this talk, I'm going to focus only on the image guidance piece and how to improve that, hopefully. So what is image guidance in radiation therapy? Let's see if this will work. So here, apologies, Dow, for stealing your graphic. Here is a video showing an image-guided radiation therapy treatment. So here you see the low-energy X-ray tube there swinging around here, and here comes the low-energy X-ray beam, and here's a flat panel detector. And so capturing X-ray projections from 360 degrees as the gantry moves around, these can then be reconstructed, and the volumes, the treatment volumes can be visualized, and the physician or therapist can line the patient up and then can move the treatment couch to make sure that the tumor is in the right place, and so the treatment can proceed safely. All right, let's get out of there. Okay. So is this important? Is this image guidance necessary? Well, it's been demonstrated that image guidance can save lives and reduce toxicities. On the left here, you can see the mistakes or the setup errors that can occur without image guidance on the order of several centimeters. And on the right, when you incorporate online image guidance, you reduce those to the level of millimeters. And what does this increased precision mean? Well, it translates to fewer toxicities in the patients, fewer marginal misses, so hopefully less incidence of local recurrence. And then it allows the clinicians to perform dose escalation, more radiation dose for the tumor in these high dose, fewer fraction treatments, which provide really much better outcomes. So while this image guidance is really important, it's not consistently available or used in all settings. Some impediments include the cost of this equipment, as well as the service required for this equipment and training to use it. So for example, here you can see if this is a linear accelerator and you've got your source here and your panel here, you also have an X-ray generator being used to drive this X-ray source, probably water cooled, so you've got some water pumping action. You've got your acquisition hardware in another room. And so you have all these different components. These are on these robotic arms that I showed in that video. And if any one of these has an issue, then your image guidance is down. And the consequences of that could be unsafe or less effective treatments and perhaps extended downtime, and that translates into the patient care. So should we remove the kilovoltage imager, those arms that extend out, and it's almost like moving back in time to 2 decades ago when all we used was this a megavoltage imager, so using the high energy treatment beam for our imaging. Well, let's examine this. One, what are some consequences of this? Well, you would reduce the purchase costs of the device, reduce the service costs, as I just explained, potentially reducing downtime, and reduce some infrastructure requirements needed to house all that other equipment. So what are the benefits, clinical benefits of this, using this beam, the MV beam? Well, you'd have improved penetration for thicker anatomy. You could have reduced beam hardening and metal artifacts, and better HU or Hounsfield unit accuracy for adaptive radiation therapy procedures. However, there are some key technical challenges, including the physics of these MV X-rays, and the detector itself has some key limitations. So one approach that I'm going to be discussing here today is to use a lower energy beam to overcome some of those physics issues. And I'll talk about the design and development and testing of a high energy, a high efficiency imager that we've performed with Varian Medical Systems. And that's this right down here. So the current MV imager, just to give you a brief tour of it, is composed of 3 layers. One, a copper filter, followed by a scintillator, which turns the X-rays into optical light, which can then be absorbed by this photon detector array here, which is not unlike the camera on your phone. So this design is roughly 2 decades old and hasn't really changed much in that time period. And it's generally a low efficiency, so 1 to 1.5% at these high energy beams. So what would these cone beam CT images look like with this detector? So with a current detector, and this is what an acquisition would look like. So here you see rotating around now, instead of using these arms, you're using the treatment beam itself, and you're capturing the output here in this panel. And so this is what it would look like with the current imager. This is just a contrast phantom, which is used to test what different materials of different densities would look like. And so at the same radiation dose, this is the current imager, which you can see is very noisy, and you're missing a lot of low density objects, which could be important in patients. And this is what the KV, the current standard KV, would look like, which you can see has much less noise, and you can identify these low density objects. So it seems like there's work to be done, and that's why many people have concluded that the current MV imager is just not sufficient for clinical image guidance. Oops, let's move on here. So one step in this direction that we've taken is to design a prototype for layer design. Now this is just taking the standard detector that I just described and adding 3 more of the same layers on it. And what this does is, by adding these other layers, you're capturing 4 times as much of the radiation. So you only So you can capture this either the same image with 4 times less dose, or you can get better images with the same dose. And this is a device that has been built by Varian, and we have the prototype here across the street in our clinic, and we're able to mount it on our linear accelerators here. And so what do these images look like? So again, here's the standard imager here, and now we're looking at a lower energy, which is available on our clinical linear accelerators, 2.5 MV, and you can see that it's noisy, and it's hard to identify some of these low-density objects. Now with our novel multi-layer imager here in the middle, this is all at the same dose levels. Now it's much less noisy, and you can start to identify some of these low-density objects. However, we're still not quite at the level of the KV cone beam CT, but we're definitely much closer, and we're getting there. This is what it would look like this is an anthropomorphic pelvis, so this is designed to look like a human anatomy, and you can see with a standard imager, it's quite noisy, and with many artifacts surrounding the bone here. However, with a new imager, it's much cleaned up, and you can see the anatomy much better. So what other fun things can you do with this detector? Well, because it has 4 layers, and each 4th layer can be read out independently, and each layer has a copper filter above it, we recognize that each layer is actually seeing a different part of the spectrum of this MV beam that's coming in. The MV beam coming in is composed of photons of many different energies, and each layer is seeing a different part of that spectrum. And by doing some weighting of the images from each layer, you can start to do some things like identifying certain materials and then bringing them to the fore. For example, here, this is a pelvis phantom with implanted gold markers, which we often use in patients, and you can see that they're very difficult to detect with a standard imager. However, because they're gold and we know they're gold, we can apply a weighting scheme here to bring out the gold, which has a different density than the tissue and the bone, and we can now identify the markers much more clearly. Here you can see them zoomed in here, and this is looking from the front, and this is looking from the side. And so by employing this multi-energy imaging on the same detector, we can start to do some interesting things, improving the imaging in a way that we couldn't do with KV imaging. We're also looking at some other alternatives, including low-cost materials, like scintillating glass, and this is something we published earlier this year. Again, this is still work with Varian. Using a pixelated scintillating glass, it's 6 times more efficient than that single layer that I described earlier. And so now, again, looking at the standard imager here, very noisy, again, can't see these low-density objects, and now with the LKH5, much less noisy, and you really can start to see these objects. And you see that with this new scintillating material, we're getting very close to the KV cone beam. Well, now that we have these 2 alternatives, why not put them together, right? So we have our standard imager, which is GOIS, which is low efficiency but high resolution, and that LKH5 I described, which is high efficiency but low resolution. If you put them together on the same panel, then you get the best of both worlds. You can get high resolution, high efficiency, which translates to lower dose imager, and that's something we're investigating right now. Some additional MV imaging applications that I'm not really going to talk about today, but again, this is work over the past, say, 15 plus years with Varian, is using in-treatment verification. Here you can see we can identify a lung tumor in real time and track it. And once you do know where it is, then you can apply tumor tracking, so you can follow the tumor in real time. This technology can also be used for quality assurance, capturing the exit radiation so you know what you treated, and then you can translate that to make sure that you have the highest quality treatment. And then you can use that information as well to perform adaptive radiotherapy, so that each treatment day you know how much dose you're giving, and then you can change your plan to make sure that at the end you arrive at the dose distribution that you had planned for. So while this is the win-win session, I really see this as a win-win-win scenario. My apologies. So involving industry, the local cancer centers, and then the patients themselves. For industry, you have reduced manufacturing costs, a simpler system, potentially the possibility of selling more units. For the cancer centers, that reduced manufacturing costs could be passed on to them, as well as reduced service costs and reduced space requirements, but with the same functionality is what we're going for here. We want the same functionality because we want the same ability to treat precisely for the patients. And so for the patients, you have greater machine access. If you have less downtime, you have that precision medicine, and that will all translate into better outcomes. So with that, I'd like to acknowledge all the people here who have worked on this project, as well as our partners with Varian, the NIH, NCI for their funding, and Varian for their support. Thank you.
Hello. I am sorry that we will repeat the first video again because there are missed 2 minutes for technical reasons. So I discovered this after at the end. So I repeat it. It's just 5 minutes. Then we will talk together. It's okay now? Sorry.
We don't see Ahmed, nothing. Yeah, it's coming now.
Hello, my name is Eric Ford. I'm a medical physicist and a professor at the University of Washington in Seattle. I'm going to describe a project my team and I are involved in. This is to deliver low-cost radiotherapy devices for cancer treatment. So if you don't know what radiation therapy is, let me stop for a minute and explain that, and then I'm going to talk about the device. All right, so here we go. So here's a case study. Here's a patient with a lesion from metastatic cancer in the vertebral body. You can see it here. This is very painful for this patient, but we can treat this with radiation. So here's a treatment, 8th grade, delivered over 3 days, and this patient leaves and the pain will be gone. So this is a palliative treatment, not meant to cure the patient, but it avoids all the problems associated with the delivery of a narcotic or an opioid for this patient. Very common use of radiation. Here's another way we use it. Treating this patient who has head and neck cancer, treating the tumor volumes here, staying away from the cord and staying away from the salivary gland, which preserves salivary function and dietary status. So this can be delivered in a very cost-effective way and avoid toxicities. So these are the main advantages. Non-invasive, allows sparing of organs, low risk of toxicity, and overall the costs are low once you're going with radiotherapy. It should be utilized according to various studies at a very high rate. And you look at cancers that are represented in low middle income countries, and you see the utilization rate should be around 80% or so. That's how we use it when the technology is available. But the access is not good across the globe. There are many machines in North America, almost 4,000, but in the continent of Africa, there are about 300 such machines. And per population, the numbers are also not good. In addition to that, there are staffing needs, and here you'll see the great undersupply of medical physicists. It's one of the job description of people that are needed to run and control these devices. So this drives the access to technology, the upfront capital costs, the staff availability, the reliability, and you see that play out here. In low-income countries, the equipment is a big percentage of the cost. Also, the staff, even if the salaries are available, the staff is often not available. So that brings us to the requirements. We need devices that are reliable, simple, efficient, and as a result have reduced staffing requirements. However, they also need to be able to deliver high precision radiation therapy. The devices we have now use many moving parts, lots of equipment that can break down. So this is the crux of our project. This is something that's funded by the National Cancer Institute under the Affordable Cancer Technology Program. And our project is partnership with the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in New Delhi and a commercial partner, Panacea Medical Technologies in Bangalore, India. We're designing a system that's novel. It's a ring-based compensator system to deliver intensity modulated radiation therapy. It works by using printed plastic shells, 3D printed, and these shells are then filled with tungsten beads, which are reusable. The radiation beam goes through this, and it's attenuated just where it needs to be attenuated, and it delivers a precise radiation dose. These are placed in a ring around the patient, and you treat through each of these compensators, which is an extremely efficient way to do this. We've run some simulations. This is a plan of a patient actually treated on a current radiotherapy device in the clinic, and this is our device in the bottom, and you can see you achieve the same kind of sparing that you do in the clinic. But what's interesting is this is on the bottom, this is done with a cobalt-60 beam, and yet the treatment times are very short. So this has never been possible before, and it's done with very few moving parts, very simple device that should provide increased access to this really important technology. All right, with that, I'd like to thank you. I look forward to further discussions that we'll have around this soon. Thank you.
So as you see, Dr. Tawfiq and Bashkim and all of you, that it is very exciting techniques, and they are present. It's not the future, and also they are also have support, as you hear when we present. Rosper Biko said, "Thank you, Dow." Dow is as you remember, Pashkim was Mr. Dow Wilson, the president of Varian himself. And with these, all this could be win-win, and maybe as Ross added, win-win-win. And he is, at that time he said, "I apologize," and we all of us laugh because this is win-win. This is very nice. But what is needed really is that you become the advocate and who raise the importance of the demand for these techniques to make things more reliable and more access, less costly, less time consuming, and all these things. You who can do this. I see that the number of participants is very few today, but because maybe you think that this is something techniques or complicated. No, without this, we cannot make things realized and to increase access of care. So this is your important role to promote this and to distribute this and to add to this and to create a real demand on industry and all, and policymaker to make these things available and to increase this such research and such work. Otherwise, we'll continue, our new generation continue to complain that our machines are not working, there are lack of shortage of everything, lack of drugs, lack of everything, and then the problem will be increased. So you are the heroes and the leaders of such initiative, and you are the real leader, in fact, everywhere in the world. So it is the floor of you is yours now. Before I speak about the present the third talk, Dr. Tawfiq, if you have a comment. Tawfiq, you hear me?
Yeah, thank you, Prof. I think probably yes. Yeah. I say thank you. The two presentations have been wonderful. I think probably that's just like a corollary to what we're trying to achieve with my work of last week. First, the was meant to deliver a low radiotherapy facility, which perfectly fit into the LMIT's situation as well. I think probably from the decision he made, the work is at advanced stage. But if you were to be on the call today, I really want the status now. And when can we really see this delivered from the experimental stage directly into the use in the clinic? Because my understanding as we speak is that it's still within the realm of trying to get everything right for it to be patented, if I'm not wrong. Being my question to Professor Eric, really know where exactly where we are now. Will this low cost therapy as it were? Yeah, because the advantage is very obvious. Definitely decreasing the costs is one of the win objectives, especially for the low and middle income countries, because the costs are increasingly becoming really very prohibitive, and that's enough incentive to be able to provide a very good quality standard cancer care, especially in the LID. That is that for the first presentation. Of course, again, the second presentation is following suit, or has followed suit. The same question I'd have loved to really ask the presenter is to know where we are now. And may I use this opportunity to push this forward to Professor Elzawawi to really, if the presenters are actually on the call or the representative are on the call, even if it means probably typing the status out, on the chat box to really know where we are. But barring that, I think as part of the feedback channel, it would be nice to know exactly where we are with these two facilities that has been excellently presented. And obviously, it will go a very long way in trying to assist with the cancer care continuum in our region, especially. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
So I think could be this session will be important to push forward communication together. I have just received a communication from Ross Perbico about his device for image-guided radiotherapy, and he said, I will not be available in this session, but please make me in contact and please go forward in such a direction. For Eric Ford, it is for IMRT. It is very interesting, really. And before he fabricated it, we have some communications with one of his assistants, and he fabricated already in India. The MLC is fabricated in India and it is available in Washington University. So start the communication together, and you both and other colleagues, please. Dr. Khalid, I see Khalid Abdul Karim is there. Start this communication and to push this forward. This will be not just a session and finish by a few participants, but it will be wide spread by you and did of you, and I'm at your disposal to make you connected to Raspberry Pico and Eric Ford and all together. Let me just be something like facilitator. This is all, but it needs your leadership, all of you. Professor Bashkim.
Yeah, Ahmed, hi. So
Yes,
hello,
do you have
everyone. Yeah, nice to see you all. I think what Rosper Beko and Eric Ford were showing, especially what Rosper Beko was mentioning, it is very important for low and middle income countries that we have robust machines, low-cost machines that are more easily accessible. But it's what is more important also that these machines are more robust during their work. This is very important. We have a lot of machines stay in line in the hospitals in low and middle income countries, and they usually are not in functioning position because of spare parts or because they have a lot of many parts that are easily broken, and then you don't have the financial mean for repairing them. Therefore, in this sense, I think this is very important. Yeah, maybe in fact the work of Rosper Beko is still on the research part, but it's very important that we keep the spirit together, and they are working further that we will have in the near future these technologies accessible directly in the low and middle income countries. And this is very important, in fact, so we keep the cooperation in between together so that we can push the project. And this win-win-win of Eric, you know, Ahmed, I like it because the wins are getting multiplied now, and that is what we need to work together forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Bashkim. Even Norm Coleman added is win power n. That is to say, it is unlimited win, but we call it win-win, but it is unlimited. Dr. Khalid sent to me that is where is the publication? The publication is chapters in our book, and I send you the link again if you didn't read it. But please read the book and read this chapter, 2 chapters, and I tell you in which chapter they are present. Chapter of Eric Ford, the chapter of Rosper Biko, and Eric Ford gives more details about IMRT and about. So it is at your service. So just I'll send you again reminder with the WhatsApp with link and everything. So please read and come back to us to as contributors. We need you all leaders in such initiative. What I present now is about flash radiotherapy. Some things that flash radiotherapy is we are speaking about something like science fiction or something. No, it has begun. And also refer to something that it could be realizable and could be why we present it here, because it is would be less cost, time consuming, and it is a revolution in radiobiology, really. Let us hear that together and looking for your feedback and your very precious comment.
Hello. Hello all. Today is the 18th session of the Global Oncology Implementing Science GOIS program, which is a part of the Global Oncology University. Go you. I am Ahmed El Zawawi, I present today on behalf of the group the flash radiotherapy, which is part of the series of clinical radiation oncology of the Global Oncology University Approaching Global Oncology Implementing Science course. Today is the 18th session, as we said. Let me introduce quickly myself. As you know, that I am chair Win-Win Initiative, chair board of directors of Global Oncology University, the GOIS, and this is the website. Founder and president of ICDOC International Campaign for Establishment and Development of Oncology Centers, past president of AWARTIC, African Organization for Research and Training in Cancer, a professor of clinical oncology, Suez Khan University, Ismailia, and chairman of Al Sulaiman Radiation and Clinical Oncology, Port Said, Egypt. Course directors of this series, Professors Kiro Sikora, Wilfred Nigwa, Stephen Avery, Siful Haq, Twalib Ngoma, Taufik Aish, Pashkim Zibri, and Luca Incrucci, Eduardo Gazap, David Kerr, Christina Stefan, and Ricardo Audicio, and I. Three common questions along this series to make clinical oncology radiotherapy more accessible and affordable in the real world is lowering total cost of cancer care possible without compromising the outcome? We say, and let us say it together, yes, yes, yes. In previous session, we gave tens of examples of systemic cancer therapy. Second, could we double or more the number of treated patients with the existing available radiotherapy facilities at present in the world? Yes, it is possible if, and we shall see if there is serious will, if they work together, if is it possible to increase the number of clinical oncology care services remarkably? Yes, it is possible if the focus here in this lecture is on scientific example and brainstorming ideas that could lead to an increase of the affordability of good value radiotherapy. Your feedback, ideas, and comments are welcomed. This is the link. Today, flash radiotherapy is an innovative technique used in cancer radiotherapy of cancer because it delivers an extremely high dose of radiations, ultra high dose radiotherapy, more than 40 grays per second, or even sometimes we consider 30 gray per second, to the tumor in very short period of time, typically within a fraction of a second. The main advantage of flash radiotherapy is its potential to increase therapeutic ratio by selectively damaging cancer cells while minimizing damage to surrounding normal tissues. This is believed to be due to unique normal tissue response to the ultra-high dose rate. Studies conducted in cell and preclinical models suggest that flash radiotherapy may spare normal tissues from radiation-related side effects such as skin toxicity, gastrointestinal complication, and damage to organs at risk. Nevertheless, while flash radiotherapy shows promising results in preclinical and early clinical study, one should note that the technique is still in the early stages of development. It's important. This technique is still in the early stages of development. One may ask how long it takes to convert standard existing clinical accelerator LINAC used for radiotherapy to deliver flash capable ultra-dose high rate electron radiotherapy beam. In other words, is flash radiotherapy means that you for electrons means that you replace your old radiotherapy machine or what you use now and buy another machines, etc. No, you for electron particular now you can convert the standard existing accelerators to flash therapy. But how long it takes? Is it 20 days or 20 hours or 20 minutes? What do you think? It could take only 20 minutes to perform or to reverse it. You imagine? Moreover, the process which use existing accessory, the team converted a variant LINAC 2100 CD to deliver ultra high dose rate electron beam using existing accessories, including GOIS, applicators, and cutouts. This is according to researcher from Dartmouth, USA, New Hampshire, they had developed a method to convert standard clinical linear LINAC used for radiation therapy to deliver flash capable ultra high dose rate radiotherapy beam. This is the reference. Lead author Bubur Rahman and Ramesh Ashraf of the Thayer School of Engineering and colleagues report that the converter system could achieve those of what you imagine, those rate up to 290 plus or minus 5 grays at the isocenter 100 centimeter source to surface distance. It is well above the 40 grays threshold needed to potentially achieve the flash effects. They achieved 290 grays. The researchers are currently using ultra-high dose rate beam in preclinical studies on experimental animal tumors, as well as in clinical veterinary treatment. Murine studies are underway to examine the nature of normal tissue participating from radiation damage that the flash effect. Flash radiation treatment may hold promise as a potential treatment to tough to kill tumors. A first in human study in small number of people with bone cancer suggests that the technology previously tested in animals was shown to be as safe as appeared to be as effective as conventional radiation without causing unexpected side effects. This is a finding of FAST-01 trial. Most early research in flash radiotherapy use electron beam to deliver the radiation, but these beams don't penetrate very deep to the tissue, limiting its applicability to the treatment approach. Using proton beams for ultra high dose rate radiation allows for penetration sufficient to reach tumor locations in most people. While preclinical trials with animals suggest flash radiotherapy could safely deliver in high doses of radiation with the fewer harmful side effects. Prior to FAST-01 trials, the treatment had never been tested under clinical trials in humans. Following flash radiotherapy, 8 gray in single fraction, 0.3 seconds, 7 of the 10 patients experienced complete or partial pain relief. Of the 12 treated sites, pain was relieved completely for 6 sites and partially for 2 additional sites. Temporary pain flares occurred in 4 of the 12 sites treated in 10 patients. Side effects from treatment were mild. 4 patients experienced mild skin hyperpigmentation, darkening skin tone. 1 experienced skin discoloration. 2 experienced mild limb edema. Swelling or puffiness means swelling, as you know. 2 experienced pruritus, itching skin. 1 experienced fatigue. 1 experienced erythema, reddening of the skin, and 1 experienced extremity pain. You know that I explained pruritus, edema, something, because you can show this video to not only to colleagues, specialists in these branches, but to in general, and for policymaker maybe. Ultimately, flash radiotherapy could also be useful in treating pediatric cancer, since children are more sensitive to the side effect of radiation therapy. He said, but much more research needs to be done before that can occur, according to the author of this research. Researchers don't fully understand why flash radiotherapy kills tumor with fewer side effects than conventional radiations. And further research is needed to determine the biological mechanism driving the flash effects. It's worthwhile to note that as FAST-1 and moreover FAST-2 trials are funded by variant medical systems. Over the years, various hypotheses have been put forth to explain this mechanism. The key tenets of flash radiotherapy includes distinction related to oxygen depletion, reactive oxygen species. It is called ROS, reactive oxygen species. Alterations in the immune microenvironment, preservation of DNA integrity, pH regulation, and modulation of mitochondrial function, among others. This is the reference. Influencing factors. There are multiple factors that could influence flash effect, including dose rate, total dose, pulse rate. This is important. Pulse rate, fractionation, and modality of radiation. Pulsing the radiation at high frequency can induce flash effect at a suitable dose per pulse. Further study is needed to confirm the key parameter for inducing flash effect, as there are so many variables at play. It's very exciting. It needs many studies. Oxygen depletion. Is the forethought that the difference in tissue exocytosis between flash radiotherapy and conventional may be due to the level of hypoxia at ultra high dose related to subsequent radioresistant transfer into the irradiated tissue. Immune modulation. Another proposed theory for flash effect is a modified immune response, as it involves shorter treatment time. Less lymphocyte. It is, as you know, white blood cells involved in the immune system are affected by the radiation. One study reported less immune system activation in mice following flash radiotherapy compared to conventional radiotherapy. It should be noted that it is unclear that any immune response following flash radiotherapy is contributing to the flash effect or caused by it. Other biological responses, such as DNA damage and inflammation, could be contributing, and more studies are needed for clarifications. The way is open. The question here, is it a start of a new era of flash radiotherapy? It's definitely a future goal to utilize not only proton flash, which is already being explored clinically, but also very high energy electrons and photons. This is important to allow translation to more deep-seated tumors, which would really open up the clinical uses for this technology. So many technological developments are needed, and studies, biological and clinical studies. The emergence of flash radiotherapy has the potential to revolutionize our understanding to radiobiology. It is make a revolution in radiobiology and reshape the field of radiotherapy. It offers the possibility of reducing radiation doses to healthy tissue while maintaining effective tumor control, and opens up new avenues for combining radiotherapy with other anti-tumor treatment, particularly immunotherapy and others, and systemic therapy, particularly immunotherapy. However, before flash radiotherapy can become the primary technology in radiotherapy clinically, further animal experiments are necessary to gather more data and insights. It's crucial to define the dose limits for normal tissue and establish radical radiation dose for cancer. Relationship between the flash effect and linear energy transfer and oxygen concentration is crucial. Between linear energy transfer, LET, what we call in our specialty on radiobiology, LET, or physics, and oxygen concentration is crucial. Experimental evidence is needed to distinguish the oxygen levels between normal and malignant tissue and quantify their differences. It's a very important point. More development on dosimetry in dosimetry of flash radiotherapy are warranted, as radiation dosimetry is another critical challenge in flash radiotherapy. Treatment planning systems specifically designed for flash radiotherapy need to be developed to optimize treatment delivery. The immune response in both normal and tumor tissue exposed to flash radiation should be also studied to assess its impact on treatment outcomes. Mechanisms related to immune and DNA damage responses following flash radiotherapy require thorough investigation to better comprehend the underlying biological effect. Finally, clinical studies are necessary once new technologies capable of reaching deep depths in human patients' body become available. Lastly, I admit to you that I gained from this topic one more confirmation from a previous lesson that we always say. Once more, an old idea could be developed and be promising for the future. What do you think? Some think that flash radiotherapy is a new idea. But despite the flash radiotherapy is a relatively not new concept in the field of radiotherapy, its history can trace back to the early 20th century, when researchers observed certain notable effects of high-dose radiations. One of the earliest observations related to flash radiotherapy occurred in the late 1950s, exactly in 1959. Dewey and Boyd reported on the phenomena known as the flash effect, which is now referred to as flash radiotherapy. They observed the modification of oxygen effect when bacteria are given large pulses of radiation. As we emphasized before, on that, in the Win-Win International Scientific Initiative, it is your initiative, you all, belong to you all. And along the global oncology implementing science programs, which is yours also, all, we adopt flexibilities of thoughts free flow of ideas, classic and innovative scientific approaches that could serve smartly the cause of the increase of access to cancer care in the world. Please send your feedback and comments to this is the link. And thank you all for your attention. And we are looking forward to hearing from you and going forward in fruitful cooperation. Thank you all, and bye-bye.
Okay. So let us finalize now by your comments, and I would like to pose this question for your precious and very valuable comment, that what we prefer to do together is to repeat the same talks in conference and commissions and all, or to explore the new ways that could make life easier to our mid-career and our newer generation. What we prefer is to repeat the same things that sometimes we feel that I feel personally this blocked. Radiotherapy is what will achieve more in radiobiology and all, but this is exploration for how to see the near future, and it is possible. That is why I concentrated in photons, not protons, because proton is barrier for to be used this flash radiotherapy. So more technology. Who will raise the flags? Us, or we wait that signals from other? And I say this to Khaled particularly. You wait for industry to tell you and to make information, but the industry are involved already, but they wait the demand. If you who push, you who raise the flag, who you make research, you who distribute these videos to colleagues and receive their feedback and their comments, because they may have more precious and more innovative ideas. Otherwise, we'll stop, and the gap between what is required and what is available would be increasing in the next decade, despite of these declarations and many things. What do you prefer? Is to repeat what the same, or to search and to lead and be the pioneer in front to advocate this in the world? I see the participant today 10, but by you can distribute this to 100 and more. And there are links for live discussion, for even for forum for discussion, and it's present in the web. It's not just a short communication and finished. No, it will be the recorded, and then I send you the playlist and everything. And this is yours. You are the leaders. What do you think, Bashkim, my brother Bashkim?
You are completely right, Ahmed. It's not. I think two messages were very interesting, very important. What you delivered now. It's one is that really this flash therapy is not new, but it's becoming again on the spot, and it's very important that it can be used in existing machines. As you mentioned, in low and middle income countries, it's almost impossible to have proton or hadron therapy machines because they are very expensive. So you can use. The second thing is that we need really young, midterm, experienced researchers to work together. As you mentioned, still work to be done with animals. And for this, we have to be advocates in more developed countries to let's say, to give more monies for research. In order that we really achieve in the level that we can use this flash therapy in all over the world, especially in low and middle income countries. And these 2 points combining the research and using the existing facilities machines is very important, because this will lower also the effort and the costs for these countries.
Thank you, Baskin, for your precious comment. And I would like to suggest that if you all together, and I'll send you a draft about a letter to communication with Eric Ford and Ross Perbico to know more details, and because they are one of the team of the win-win, by the way, as you as you see. But I know that time availability is not always come in the same time or same appointment or time of work or something, but this not should be a barrier. We I'll write short draft for Rose Berbico, another for Eric Ford, and make you in communication together to make me more developed on this. About flash radiotherapy, as Professor Bashkim Zibri kindly added that, yes, it could be done if it is electron, and if it is photons, if there are some work now to convert it to photon, because proton will be always a barrier. What is the value of this? It's not just a scientific work for scientific work, but it solves problems, as Bashkim said, and as Taufik always working in more robust, more reliable machines at less cost. This is very important, Taufik, really. There is any comment from Taufik, from Shaban, from Khaled, from Fifi, from any of you? Okay, I think that now we close the session, and in the same time that this is a start, not the end. This is just the beginning. This is just good morning. So we'll go forward together, and I hope that will be start of more and more action. I would like to remind. Yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
Dr. Ahmed, for your scientifically about the flash radiotherapy. But at the time being, we can use flash therapy in our country?
No, we can develop it. We can be part of researches with companies. About IMRT, this is possible, and and about also IMRT of Eric Ford. This device is fabricated already, and this make things easier. Instead of say I can do IMRT, this need times, or if I do, it is needs more time and cost. So I can treat more patients with less cost, with less technicians. This solve many problems. So we can be part, all of you can be part of developing more research to be these devices more applicable, and the industry are there. And as you see that Eric, when before he did it, was some discussion about it, and he fabricated it in India. About the image-guided radiotherapy, instead of saying that it's no time for do all this, we have a list of patients. These the modifications of the electronic portal version and this device is already present, and there are publications about it. Our role is to provoke the need, and to present this to our colleagues, to our younger colleagues, to be a general message to push things forward, and not to stop in the same stage of we have nothing to do, we have difficulties, we have less difficulties of lack of physicists, lack of doctors, lack of technicians, lack. So this is the only way. So we can, and our duty is to pave the way for the very near future. And in lecture based on chapter 6, one of the reference was a song. Yes, it was a song that not everyone will pass to the future. So let us, our mid-generation and young generation, among those people who will go to future and not be in the last of list of the world.
Thank you very much, our Prof.
And this is your role, Dr. Fifi. Be a leader. Be a leader, please. Be a leader. Raise the
your help,
flag.
with your help إن شاء الله يا دكتور.
Raise the flag. It is needed. Okay,
Okay.
my friends, if there any other comment, I am at your service. Okay. So we close the session now, and it is recorded. And please, there is playlist for all previous lecture. Send it to all your colleagues, all unit work. You are the leaders, and send it with some words from your behalf. You are leaders. This is not mine. It's not yours especially, but it's on behalf of everyone. Please send it with nice words from you to all. Thank you, and bye-bye till next week. We have a very exciting topics. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye, everyone.